It's been 3 years since the wildly successful season 1 of Beef, and I have to say I was a little worried that they wouldn't get a season 2 because of some of the abhorrent resurfaced comments of David Cho, one of the stars of season 1. I feel like that kind of overshadowed a lot of the success that season 1 got. I mean, it won Emmys and won, I think, Golden Globes, and a lot of people just really, really loved it, but it was kind of hard for the cast and everyone to go 10 toes down in the press for it, because there was a lot of pressure to, of course, condemn his comments and distance themselves. I was fully expecting Beef to just be a one-off miniseries and we would never revisit it, and in a way it kind of is that, because what we got from season 2 is kind of not even the same show. It's just nowhere near what season 1 was. I don't know if the writers ran out of ideas or what, but it just felt like a lot less potent and uninspired. What really drove the show for me in season 1 was the momentum. There was a lot of anticipation, and in season 2 I felt like it didn't really pick up until episode 6. I remember thinking oh, I must still be really, really early. I feel like I've been watching for a while, but this has to be episode 3 or something, because it's not really picking up. And imagine my surprise when I looked and I saw I only had 2 episodes left. I said, so what's about to happen in 2 episodes that's gonna make this live up to what y'all did last time? And I mean, nothing. After watching for a while, I have to say I started getting some deja vu, and this is why I say it felt kind of uninspired, because there were a lot of parallels between season 1 and season 2, and it almost seemed like, okay, let's reach back to what fueled a really, really good Beef. The beefing parties each were separated by vast wealth. That was something in season 1 that we saw again in season 2, and one of the parties was vying for the approval in favor of a female billionaire. And that may sound broad, but it's really kind of not. It was the bones were the same, but then they put it in a different circumstance, but the characters weren't as deep as they were before. When you really look at these characters, Josh and Lindsay are a wealthier couple having marriage issues. One of them works a lot, the other one not so much. The one that works is at a crossroads in their career, and they are trying to basically ingratiate themselves to this billionaire who has their fate in her hands. This is the same shit. And Ashley and I can't remember his name, Charles Melton's character, they use the leverage that they have from this back and forth to try to basically give themselves a leg up financially in their career. And that is not where the beef started in season 1, but it does also get there. It gets to that point where in season 1 David is trying to blackmail her for this money that he really, really needs. So I just feel while the financial motivations and this class sort of dynamic that we see in both seasons, sure, there's a lot you could do with that, but it seems like they didn't do enough to make it interesting and for it to have depth in season 2. Season 1, I just felt it had depth because the characters did, and in season 2 I just feel like they didn't. First of all, why Ashley went off the rails like that all of a sudden? The first episode, she's sweet, they're this, they're that, all of that, and then she just all of a sudden, it's she flips a switch and she's batshit crazy. And I feel we didn't really get enough built into her character to understand that. Yeah, they threw in that her parents got divorced when she was really young. I understand people be having troubles with that, but it's girl, that don't explain all of this. It just felt kind of lazy and tossed in at the last minute, because it was in the last episode. They didn't really talk about it. It was literally a one-liner comment from her fiance, and sure, she called her dad twice in 8 hours, because one episode is an hour, and 8, in that entire span that we followed them, twice, and he was oh yeah, I'm at the game, gotta go both times. And I don't know, it just wasn't enough for me. Also, I feel we could have learned a little bit more about why Ashley was a high school dropout, because dropping out of high school is really not even that common no more. People do, it happens, but especially you a little white girl that works at a country club, high school girl, that has to make life hard for you. And I feel that could have been a point where they could have maybe teased out a little bit more, like, of whatever traumas are making her behave the way she behaves, why you act the way that you act, girl. Like, that's what I really need to know, because she just really she was scaring me. But what really kind of irritated me about it was that the beef wasn't even the driving force behind the show. Like, it wasn't what was pushing the show forward. Like, it exacerbated the main issue. Like, the main issue was obviously, like, Congresswoman, you hear me? Chairwoman. The chairwoman was literally diabolical and running all of this, like, corrupt shit going on. And, like, the beef exacerbated that situation by, like, Lindsay overhearing about the dog and throwing away the phone. Like, yes, that made things worse. Josh and Lindsay very poorly embezzling money from the country club. It complicated things. You know, it gave the chairwoman something on them and sort of a way to put the blame on someone else for the corrupt things that she was doing. But, like, I feel like the main thing was that this very powerful person is covering up deaths. She's threatening people. She's having people kill themselves. She's doing all this crazy stuff. And she is an outside party from the beef. It felt like we went, like, at least 2 or 3 episodes without any of the tit for tat that we were used to getting. And so, like, yeah, it gained some momentum in the last, like, 2 episodes. Because, like, yeah, we wanted to know what would happen and how things would unfold. But, like, I like really, like, heady stories. Like, I like to feel like I'm inside a character's brain. And what I liked about season 1, not to keep comparing them, but, like, I don't know. Like, I felt like season 1 had a very good, like, setup for what the premise of the show was supposed to be. And I feel like what they did well was they made the show about this back and forth and about wondering what the characters were going to do next, why they couldn't resist kind of going the extra mile, how far were they willing to go for this, like, incredibly petty thing that could have just totally been, like, it could have been a blip in their past that they eventually forgot about, like, and instead it spiraled into absolute chaos. And I feel like we didn't really get that same journey into these characters. Their motivations just seemed surface level. Like, their hearts weren't in it. They weren't real haters for real. Like, we needed to see some real haters, some people who are really, like, angry and torn up inside. That's what pushes people to do stuff that's, like, really fucked up and weird and just ridiculous, and, like, you are now operating outside of yourself. Like, when I feel, like, angry or somebody's getting me angry, I'm like, you about to take me outside of my character. And that's the type of story that I wanted to see, like, people who are taken outside of their character. And I felt like, again, they were being pushed by this outside force. They were being pushed by, like, fear of, like, what was going to happen to them because of what the I keep calling her a congresswoman, the chairwoman got going on, rather than their own, like, issues, and rather than being, like, pushed forward by what they have going on up here. It was too much outside forces and not enough these two parties against each other and against themselves. And besides that, the ending story didn't even make any sense. First of all, we never really found out what happened to Eunice. Like, yeah, okay, she was at the police station, but he didn't bring the USB. So what happened to her? Because the last person that tried to blackmail the chairwoman, she put that hit in quick. So I would like to know what happened to Eunice because of that. Because when the chairwoman was going up to that grave in the last scene, I was like, oh, she visiting Eunice? Like, that's really what I thought. And I also have to say, the cover-up story that they came up with at the end didn't even make sense. So y'all expect us to believe, or y'all expect people in general to believe, that the general manager of the country club that you own was embezzling money to Korea to keep people quiet about your husband killing somebody in a medical malpractice situation, and you didn't know nothing about it, and so now he's in prison? Like, I'm wondering, is this supposed to be that type of story where, like, this is the story we telling people and nobody believes it, but nobody can do anything about it? So, like, we all know she was involved, but nobody can do anything about it? Because I'm like, that's the best story y'all came up with? The best story y'all came up with was that the general manager, he was embezzling money to help your husband. Mind you, he just met you, let alone your husband. It seemed like a really, really lazy cover-up, but I also, like, maybe it was supposed to be lazy. Maybe it was supposed to highlight how when you have money and power, you don't even need to cover stuff up good because can't nobody touch you anyway. But I feel like if that was the case, couldn't she have just paid off the authorities? Like, she got people everywhere. Why did she even need to frame somebody for it? But I suppose everybody, no matter how rich or powerful, maybe not everybody, but there are situations where somebody who is very rich and powerful does need to send somebody in their place when things catch up to them. But it just felt like not a believable enough story. It just, the whole thing honestly just felt half-assed to me. I have to be honest, which is crazy because y'all had 3 years. All that being said, I do hope they get another chance. Like, I hope they get another shot at it because we know the potential. We know what the show can be. And I also just don't believe in nipping stuff in the bud when it doesn't go well in the first couple seasons, because like there was like a 54% or something drop. I don't remember the exact number. I'll put it on the screen, but like between viewership in season 1 and season 2, deserved. But I feel like they should get another chance because there's a lot of shows that need to grow into themselves, and especially like an anthology series, I feel like the sky is the limit. You're not even really beholden to like the circumstances of what happened last season. Like, you have to consider like the same characters, and like you don't have to do any of that sort of thing, and so you can just create a whole new story and a whole new world and everything. So I feel like the possibilities for the show are pretty vast, and that they should get another shot because I mean, people make stuff that doesn't really go well all the time, and that doesn't really reflect on like what their best work could be. I personally could use that 8 hours back, but I guess it's fine. I will be sad for season 3 if they get one. That is all I have for this video. These are my social media handles. You can follow me there if you'd like, including my other YouTube channel where I make video essays about history and culture. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell icon so that you get a notification every time I get off my butt and post a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.